Maybe you haven't heard, but the future of coding is no code or coding in your native language. Today, I'm going to teach you how to code in English to build a website app. It's going to be really easy. Hopefully, we can get this done under 5 minutes if I don't blabber on too long. First, you're going to need to go to gemini.google.com. This is using the newest version of Google Gemini. Google Gemini is an AI. It's an LLM, or large language model, which basically means you can ask it questions and it will predict what should come next. And what should come next for this particular question we're going to ask it is how to build a web app. Now, important to note, this is Gemini Advanced 2.0 Pro Experimental. I have this under the $20 a month plan. I do believe you will get some free usage of this, not very many per day, with Google's new tiers coming out. So you will get a few free if you just have a Gmail account. Now, the key part here is we're going to build a web app using Google Apps scripts. Now, as you can see, it looks really ugly when we stretch it out, but that's just I have a very big screen. It's actually not terrible looking for your very first web app with no code. You don't know how to code, hopefully, if you're watching this video, and you want to be able to build something. Well, this is your app. It's a wedding vendor app. It's an app where someone's going to want to hire you for wedding vendor services. Maybe they need a DJ or a wedding photographer or a wedding videographer. And you're going to build this app so that they can go onto your website. This is it right here. And enter their information. And their information is going to get stored in a database, which you're then going to be easily able to access and do some things with their information. Okay, now go back to Gemini, take the prompt down below, and you're going to copy that and paste it into Gemini for your purposes. It's going to take probably 2 minutes or so, maybe even less. And Gemini is very fast. That's one thing you will notice. And it's going to spit you back some code. Computer code that looks like this. You're going to get an HTML file, HTML being a really fancy way of saying web page. And you're going to get a code.js file. And the code.js file is sort of the meat and potatoes, or tofu and carrots if you're like my family, for the web app. And then you're going to go over to sheets.google.com to start the whole endeavor off. So you've got your code. You didn't create it. Google created it for you on Google Gemini. And you now have it. So we can copy it and paste it somewhere to build this app. We have the code. Now, it's very nice that Google, through Google Sheets, enables you to build web apps using Sheets to store the data. A lot of people know Sheets as a basic spreadsheet app, but it can actually work as a database to store data or data. I always say it both ways. And it's going to enable you to be able to store data in there from that front end. Someone's interested in hiring you for a DJ or a wedding photographer, and that information will get stored in this sheet. WeddingVendorApp is the name of the sheet, and you need two sheets down here below, two individual sheets. You're going to hit the plus icon in the lower left. You need one services and one LeadInfo. All of the header information is in the prompt that I will paste down below as well. But if you want to just copy it right now, we have reference number and service for services. And then we finally have data entered, name, phone, email, service, etc. Copy all that down and just put it up there. It'll be easier for you to read. The app should actually function just fine, even if you had a blank row number 1. It will not write to row number 1, which it states in the prompt, if you read the whole thing, which I would encourage you to do because it'll get you to see that, yes, you can speak to these LLMs or AIs in English, but you need to be very clear and very specific about exactly what your app should do and how the data is stored. If you don't do that, it very likely will get confused, especially if you're just using an LLM. And what I mean by that is there are other services that allow you to be a little bit more vague, like Replit is a cool one to check out, REPLIT, but Gemini does not. You need to be very specific with Gemini because you're going to be copying and pasting. Now, you've got your sheet set up. You're then going to go to extensions up here and click on AppScript. Now, AppScript is a layer that Google built on to Google Sheets that allows you to add code to it to run your own custom web applications or websites with Google Sheets as your database. So you store the information in a Google Sheet, but you can send someone this website. Now, don't send them this actual website you made because this is not secure. It's not very good, but it'll at least give you some basics of web programming through no code. And up here, you're going to see a little file called code.js. The one you're going to get is going to be blank. Actually, it'll have just a few little basic things. It'll say like code.js and have a few basic pieces of code in there. Delete them all, then go back over to your Gemini. And the first one you want to find is this one here, JavaScript code.js. Click copy code and then go back and go ahead and hit Control V to paste it in here. Then go ahead and hit a plus, hit HTML, type index with a lowercase I. Google Apps Script I have found to be case sensitive, which I still don't quite understand because most things in this regard are not case sensitive, but I had this issue one time. And you're going to go back here and you're going to click copy. You're going to copy your HTML. And again, the HTML is the view. It's going to be the web page. And you're going to paste it in here. So now you have two files that are resting up here in this cloud. And ordinarily, when you want to deploy or launch a web app, it's really complicated. You have to know Unix commands, and it kind of looks like the old hacker consoles. And it's a place where a lot of times beginner developers will get very confused. I myself, I feel like I'm a very average programmer, maybe even below average. And I really hate deploying software because I don't like Unix terminal. And if you don't even know what it is, hopefully you never have to learn, and AI is the future. Okay, so we got our code here. We're going to go up here and hit deploy. We're going to go to new deployment. And you're going to do execute as. Feel free to send me an email about how great this video is. And then you can do anyone with a Google account. Again, if you deploy this, do not actually ever use it because it is not secure. It's not very good, but it'll at least give you an idea. Then you can hit deploy, and the next screen will look just like this one because I've already deployed mine, and it will say web app URL. You're going to click on it. Guess what? It's going to launch your web app, and that's what it looks like. I went ahead and pre-populated some information. Again, it's really ugly because I have a widescreen 16:9 monitor, but on a normal monitor, it probably looks something like that. Yeah, and there's a few bugs, obviously, because you didn't do anything. You don't know anything. Maybe you do, but probably not. And you see here, DJ is listed twice. I don't know why. You could read the prompt. It doesn't make any sense why DJ would be listed twice. If you hit submit here, it will submit the information. And then over here in administration, click on that. We type our password. Oh, I saved the password. Not a very good security procedure. And give it a few seconds. Google Sheets is slow as a database. And although I might have not remembered to save it. Okay, bear with me. Submit. Boom. Again, it's slow, but it gave us a little pop-up here. Thank you. Your information has been submitted. Guess what? Our backend should now have one piece of information here. And again, it's slow, but hopefully there it is. There we go. Touchdown. You have an app. So if you're the administrator, you'll now be able to see that Randy Tomlin went on your wedding website and they submitted this information. You now have their phone number and email to give them a call, and you can check that they texted you. And if you want to add more services, we also offer a photo booth. Done. Now, a few notes here. Gemini did pretty good on styling. I think for like basically no effort at all. I just said include Tailwind for CSS, which is just something I know that will make an app look good because I have done some research on this. And you can just copy me and be lazy and say, use that. But you'll notice it didn't seem to do any styling here on the table. The table is really ugly. That's one of the first things I noticed. And then the phone number. Oh, there's no validation there. I feel like it should stop me before I get to that point. Other things would be the wedding date. I shouldn't be able to pick a previous date. That doesn't make much sense to me. I thought the AI would maybe just intuit that. It didn't. Again, we have 2 DJs. The email, it does seem to have some basic understanding of what an email address should look like. So overall, pretty good. Is it great? No. In fact, it pales in comparison to Replit. You should check out Replit. But if you want to get started with something that's very close to free, in fact, I think it is free right now on Gemini, try it out. Copy the code, and then you'll be able to paste it. And then the thing with Google Sheets is you've probably used it before. It's very intuitive. As you can see, it wrote it here for me, and that's what your data looks like. By the way, I clicked the send message here, and it marked it true, as you'll notice. And it stored that information. I clicked this that I had texted them, and it marked that as true right here. So it did save that. So not terrible. Now, the one thing I will tell you is I submitted more features. I was like, it's not bad. Let me give you a few more features, Dad. And I sent that into Gemini as a prompt. And then I clicked deploy. I clicked on the website. All of a sudden, my administration link stopped working. I don't know what happened. The thing is, I don't really want to find out, because the whole point of no-code coding is you should not need to code.